The photo viewer template projects were originally developed back with Camtasia 2018. Currently, there are 25 separate photo viewer template projects in the active collection. Each one accommodates 100 photos, and they will cover the range of photos with file names 001 through 2500. The block of zip files currently selected are photo viewer template projects that have been upgraded to Camtasia 2021. To use a template project, select one, drag and drop it into an open instance of Camtasia 2021. Do not open the project on import. Select import. We'll navigate to the import directory. Here we've gotten a standalone project folder. There's no way that I can not get that. Once extracted, what we have is a collection of one project file and 100 separate JPEG images. All these JPEGs are 1620 by 1080, and the only difference in their file size, which is quite small, is due to the lettering that you see on the JPEG. Now, these JPEGs were originally created by placing a text callout in the Camtasia canvas over top a light gray background, and with that object being the only thing in that part of the project, a saved frame produced the JPEG. A collection of 100 JPEGs are used to populate each one of the template projects. There are also some other minor items here. These are not consequential to the behavior of the template itself. If you were to produce one of the template projects as is, this is what you'd end up with. It was produced to MP4 with Smart Player. I'll initialize it by clicking the Start button. And what you have is a series of thumbnail views, in this case 4, that depict 25 images at a time. Clicking a different thumbnail shows you a different set of images. You can click on any image in the thumbnail and you'll navigate to that image in the project. You can move forward from that point or backwards, or go to a thumbnail and pick another image, and so forth. We'll go back to this thumbnail. Now, the images that you currently look at here, these are basically placeholder JPEGs. The intention is that these would be replaced with real photos in a real project. Since there are 25 photo viewers in the entire project collection, these little buttons are designed to allow you to hot link from one viewer to another one in a series. Each one of these viewers accommodates 100 photos, so each button will take you to a different block of 100 photos, so we can cover photos that are used that have file names 001 to 2500. Now, in the thumbnail view, the large number you see here is basically a number that shows up on the JPEG image of this item. The small 001, basically, or 2 here, corresponds to a number system, so that when real photos are used in a project, you can look at the photo and still see what sequence number it has in the total viewer. The template projects are usually populated using photos exported from Adobe's Lightroom. Here I've selected 100 photos, and the highlighted ones indicate the ones that will be exported. Note that there are exactly 100 selected. I'll go to Export, and the export wizard in this case is configured to start with photo number 1, which gives me 001 as the first file. And I'm also not going to enlarge any photos that may be smaller than 1620 by 1080. And I want to make sure that the photos are resized so that their short edge is 1080. That will give me this configuration or this configuration. The reason I work with the 1620 by 1080 is that I found that this gives me the best fidelity in the photo viewers after production. I think the Adobe resizing code is a little better than what Camtasia does if you try to make it work with oversized files. And in these cases, these files are basically 4752 by 3168, so they're pretty large. So bringing them down to 1620 1080 really reduces the file size and makes it much easier for Camtasia to handle. Anyway, after setting up the export, and I'm producing at a 300-bit resolution here, sharpening for screen, trying to get a very high quality photo to work with, I'll export them. It will take Adobe a few minutes to export all these photo images. They're going to go into a directory I've designated called Photos. Okay, that photo export's just about complete. We'll navigate over to the destination folder called Photos. Here are our 100 JPEGs that we just exported, and we can select one. You can see it in the viewer, of course, and note the file sizes. Most of them are under 3 megabyte, but a few of them are going to be larger. Like, for instance, number 36, which is the same one that's been used as an example in the glitches we've been looking at. Now we're going to go back to Camtasia, make sure that the project is not open. And again, that's because when we imported the zip, we elected not to open the project. We'll go back to our photos, and we're going to select all the photos. So Control A grabs them all. Note that we've got 100 selected. And Control C copies those to the clipboard. I'll next navigate to the standalone project folder, drill into it. There's our original JPEGs, which are just real simple images. I'm going to do a Control V, and I'm going to replace all the current 100 files with the new ones. So I'll click Replace the files in the destination. And this is going to happen because they have exactly the same file name. So I'll select Replace. And we're going to go ahead and hot swap in those photos. That's now complete. You can see the photos here, all 100 of them. I may have to refresh this, F5, to get the last couple to show up okay, but they're all there. We'll now go back to Camtasia, and we're going to open up that project. So that's Control O. And that's going to be in current project. Here's the folder, drill into it. Here's the project file, and I'm going to open it this time. This is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause the capture while this takes place. Okay, the file has now loaded. We're in Camtasia 2021. Looking at the project, and again what we did was we replaced the original placeholder JPEGs with real photos. Now if we go back to the file view of the project, and looking at the photos, I noticed that there are 7 of them in this collection of 100 that are portrait instead of landscape. I need to fix those in the project, and that's because they're going to be marked initially as invalid, and that's because their dimensions, in this case 1080 by 1620, did not match the template, which was all 1620 by 1080. So let's go into the project again, and I think the first one we need to address is number 82. That's pretty far down, so we'll scroll down in the bin, and I've got it set to look at the very largest image. We'll go down to number, I think it was 82. There it is. And yes, it's marked invalid. So to fix that, I'm going to right click and simply do an update media. And in the file collection, I'll locate number 82 because I want to replace invalid 82 with the real 82, and click open. And looks like the update media worked fine. I use update media because each one of these photos is referenced 2 locations in the project. One is as an individual photo down here on this part of the timeline. The other is in this thumbnail section here. Let me navigate the project, control right bracket, until I reach the thumbnail that contains photo number 82. And that's going to be one more. So there's thumbnail number 82. It's in there at the right orientation now, but it's a little large. I'm going to fix that after I fix the others. Look like we're missing still 94, 95, and these 4. So we'll continue scrolling here. Looks like 94 is my next one to fix. Yes, there's 94. Right click. Update media. And again, we're looking for 94, which is this guy here. And selected, so it's enter key. And just to make sure, I'll keep my eye on the file name in the bin. And I definitely got number 94. So that worked there, and you can see it's now showing up here. 95 is next. Here it's marked invalid. I'm going to right click. Update media. Now normally when I'm doing this, by the way, I'll keep this guy positioned just about like this so that it's sized such I get 10 across and I can see the entire bin area here. So it makes it easier to double check what's going on. So we're 95 here, and there's 95, so I want to replace that. So it's selected, enter key, and I should see it pop up here as it populates here. Yep, that worked out well. 97 is next, so we'll go down. There's 97. Right click. Update media. We're looking for 97 here, so we'll skim down and gee, where are you, buddy? There's 97 right there. So 97 is selected. Enter key. Okay, that took. Looks like 98 is next up. Right click. Update media. Scroll down and we're looking for 98. There it is, 98, 98. Selected, enter key. And that looks like it worked. 99's next, so right click. Update media. Scroll down here. We're looking for 99 this time. Selected, confirmed, enter key. Alright, and I think we have one more. 100 is not in the box, so right click. Update media. And we'll scroll down. 100. Confirmed. Selected. Enter key. Alright, looks like that's done. Now, all of these portraits are showing up in the thumbnail viewer, but they're not sized right. So, all the ones that were wrong in this set of 100 are in this last set of 25 thumbnails. I'm going to select the thumbnail collection and double tap on number 82. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is, since that thumbnail is selected, I'm going to open it using Control-Shift-G. And that's opened up. All the thumbnails are here, you can see. If I scrolled, you'd find them. I'm going to select number 82. It's obviously selected the way it's highlighted. And now I'm waiting for its size property to show up. And in order to do that, I'm going to need to double click it. And that's because 82 is actually a group. It's a photo, small size, and a text call out. In this case, number 082 is in the text. So, all right, we've now got that connected. You can see the outline. And let me go up here. We can get to the scale. I happen to know that I need to change the scale to 67%. So I'll type in 67, tab key to commit. And if you watch the image here, you'll see it gets resized when it's finished processing. So that worked out pretty good. Since we're already here, let's go down and do, looks like 94 is next that needs to be done. So Control Shift U. Alright, that subgroup was closed up. Now I'm going to select 94. And I'm going to double tap it to open it this time. Alright, she's obviously highlighted properly. Now we have the size property available. I'll change the size here to, again, 67%. Tab key to commit. And you'll notice that the size adjusts accordingly. Now I'm going to close that group for 94, so that's Control Shift U. And again, if I don't close it, I can't get to the next one. Now I'll select on 95 and I will double tap that to gain access to its properties. Once again, under scale, we're going to set this to 67%. Whatever highlights, there we go, 67, tab key. Wait for it to commit. You can tell because the image will resize, and it did it correctly. Process is finished now. We've got to close that subgroup, Control Shift U. Alright, now I think 97 is next in the box, so we'll select 97. And I'm going to double tap that. To access its properties. Okay, we've got the scale property available now. Highlight the current value, 67, tab key. And watching the image here, it readjusts. Looks like I displaced it. So I'm going to use the down arrows after I give it to focus. What are you doing, guys? I'm going to have to grab it and bring it back down again. Oh, that was tough. Okay. Sorry about that. Occupational hazard here. Anyway, he's back in the box. Once again, I need to collapse this, and I'm just waiting for the process to complete. Now, I know it's not complete because look at that. way overshot. So this is not fun. Let's try that and see if that works. Yep, it's back where it belongs. So Control Shift U to collapse that open group. Once again, next is 98, so I'll select, double tap. Be careful not to try to displace it. Not easy. Okay, she's selected. We've got our scale property available. Select the value, 67, tab key. I'm just waiting for it to commit. Once again, I've displaced it. Jiminy. This is brutal. Come on, guy. Move it down a little bit. There. There's got to be a better way to do this. Okay. Control Shift U to collapse that group. Now, if we were working in Camtasia 2018 or 19, this particular part of the editing is so much faster than it is in 2021. That's because of these group tabs. They're just dog slow for me. All right, we'll select 99, double tap. All right, got our scale property. Highlight the existing value, 67, tab key. At least they didn't appear to displace it, so let's collapse, Control Shift U. Take the focus away from him. And we'll do the last one, number 100. So let's select. It displaced. Let's try Control Z, see if I can get it back down there. Nope. Yeah, that worked. Thank God I got him back down there right away. Okay, let's try double tap again. See if I can get to his size properly. Okay, it's available. Select current value, 67, tab key. Watching the image is now committed. Just takes a while to settle. Control Shift U to collapse. Now 100 was the last one that I needed to do. They all look like they've been resized correctly. So I'm going to close the currently open thumbnail group, master group here. That's all these guys, 25 of them, because there's 25 thumbnail images. Control Shift U will collapse that. And that puts me back at the base project. Let's go ahead and save. Control S. Since we made a lot of edits and I don't want to have wasted my time. That's that. At this point, we've adjusted the images to the correct size on the thumbnails, but we haven't done it on the full-size version of the image down here in this part of the project. So we'll go back to our file view. As I recall, 82 was the first one. So back in the project, we can go to 82 any number of ways. One way that works real good is to use captions. Either that or you're going to hunt and peck on the timeline. So we'll go to captions. And I'm going to scroll down until I find caption 82, which corresponds with image 82. So we'll select that. There it is. Obviously it's not scaled properly, so I'm going to right click on the canvas. And we'll choose Scale to Fit. And that fills the canvas vertically with the image. Back in my file viewer, 94 and 95 are next. So we'll go to Caption 94. Once again, right click on the canvas. Scale to Fit. And that's been taken care of. We'll go to number 95 in the captions. Same thing, right click on the image. Scale to Fit. And if I go back to my file view, we're going to go 97 through 100. So we'll go here and jump down to 97. Right click. Scale to Fit. And that was 97. We'll go to 98. Right click. Scale to Fit. Just waiting for the cursor to indicate completion. Now she's done. And that was 98. We'll right click. 99. Mess that up. Try it again. Right click on the image. Got the wrong submenu. Okay guys, we'll select 99, right click on the image in the canvas. This time we're going to get the right menu. Scale to Fit. Okay, and I think we're going to do 100. Same drill. Right click the image. And scale to fit. And just to be sure, I'm going to save, Control S. And that should complete the image scaling requirements for this part of the build out. Next, I'm going to send the playhead home, Control Home. And then I'm going to navigate to the first block of thumbnails that have been populated with photos. So it's Control. We'll use this. We'll just go to the beginning. And we want to use this view of the thumbnails to replace a placeholder that we have at t equals 0. So I need to save this frame. So it's Control F. And I want it to go into the current indicated subfolder. I'm going to call this New Start. Enter key. And these frames take a while to process. I don't know why. So I'm just waiting for an indication that frame has been saved. I'm not sending it to the bin, by the way. I'm just saving it in the File Explorer. Alright, I think that's complete. Let me jump over here and go up one level where I save that. There it is. So she made it back in the project. I'm going to go back to t equals 0, so that's Control Home. And to make this easier to work with, Control Shift 9 will give me some real estate to work with on the timeline. This object here is this image you're looking at here, which were generic thumbnails. And I'm going to replace that with the frame I just saved. So I'll do that with a right click, Update Media. And I'm going to go to this folder, pick the guy, open it. And we're going to swap in those images for that set of placeholders. At this stage, I would do some other edits. I would change the production date to the current date in this particular call out. I would also enter a correct title up here. I'm not going to bother for purposes of this video. And that would pretty much complete the editing that I would have to do, other than I need to rename the project. The project name is currently generic. In fact, let me save that. Control S. We're using a generic name that came from the template project itself. I want to call it something more appropriate, so I'll do Control F A to do a save as. And I want you to note that we're not creating a standalone project when we do this. Note the folder that I'm targeting. And I'm going to call this Example Photo Viewer. For the heck of it. And then I'll click the Enter key to save. I'm just waiting for the name to change at the top here. Looks like she's trying to do it. And we have a new name. And we're going to go back to our project folders, and there's the name of the project file we just saved, and it's not a standalone folder. At this point, let's go ahead and produce the photo viewer and see how she did. So it's Control P, I have a preset. P is the preset. We're going to burn these at 1 frame per second. Next. Disregard this. Okay. And this looks good for me, and I'll finish it off. Because we're making these at 1 frame per second, these productions go very quickly. Production's completed. We'll use the O key to access the destination folder. End key will go to the launch file. Enter key will launch the video itself. And we'll start this guy to initialize it. We're going to use the mouse scroll wheel to make those player controls a little smaller. And here we go. Let's see if we can go to first one, second one. Let's see if 36 is still throwing an error. And it does. It still throws an error. Again, when being viewed in Edge for some reason. I'm going to select this, Control C. Let's get out of this. Control W. Let's launch Chrome. I'm in Chrome, Control V. Enter key. Let's initialize. Looking good. Let's go and see what happens in Chrome if I hit 36. Gee, it works. Why that's the case, I don't have a clue. It's driving me nuts. So we can go next, 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 go back, go 36. It is what it is. By the way, I'll point out that all these buttons here are navigation tools to different blocks of 100 photos that belong to a certain collection. Since there are 25 templates in this little group of projects, you can go to 25 different players if you want to. They're not all hooked up, but I'm in the process of building this out for the year, so I've got them all showing. But normally you would just click one of these guys and go there. I have not populated these in this particular project yet, but that's how these work. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this, Control W. And we can close this folder. Click Finish, Control S. Clears the has been edited indication. Control Shift 7 resets the timeline. And that's basically the process of populating a photo viewer template project with real photos and making the adjustments to the photo sizes to work.